He was already in the gym. You were still asleep. And by the time you woke up, he had already become someone you could never catch. Not because he was more talented. Not because he was given something you were not. Because he understood something about confidence that almost nobody ever figures out. And once you hear it, you will never think about preparation the same way again. Most people think the story of Kobe Bryant's 4 a.m. workouts is about work ethic. It is not. It is about something far more dangerous. Something that most people who work hard never develop. Because they are working hard for the wrong reason. His name was Kobe Bean Bryant. He was born in Philadelphia in 1978. At 6 years old, he watched Magic Johnson play basketball and made a decision, not a wish, not a hope, a decision, that he would be the greatest basketball player who ever lived. He was 6, and from that moment forward, every single thing he did was in service of that decision. The workouts at 4 a.m. were not about discipline. They were about a gap. The gap between where he was and where he had decided he would be. And here is what most people miss about that gap. It is not closed by talent. It is not closed by opportunity. It is closed by hours. Specific hours. The hours when nobody else is spending them. That is what we are talking about today. There is a concept in psychology called self-efficacy. It was documented by psychologist Albert Bandura in research that has been replicated across decades and disciplines. Self-efficacy is not confidence. Confidence is how you feel. Self-efficacy is what you believe you are capable of doing. And the research shows it is the single strongest predictor of whether a person achieves what they attempt. More than talent, more than intelligence, more than opportunity, what you believe you can do. Now here is where Kobe Bryant becomes extraordinary, not as an athlete, but as a student of his own psychology. He understood that self-efficacy is not built by thinking positive thoughts. It is not built by affirmations or visualization or motivation. It is built by evidence. Specifically, evidence that you have done the hard thing when it was difficult to do it. Every morning at 4 a.m, before the sun came up, before his teammates were awake, before anyone was watching, Kobe Bryant was building evidence. Not for the coaches, not for the fans, not for the record books. For himself. He was building a case, filing it away in the part of his mind that would be called upon in the fourth quarter of a playoff game when everything was on the line and every voice in the building was screaming, and the margin between winning and losing was a single decision made in a fraction of a second. In that moment, Kobe Bryant already knew the answer. He had filed it at 4 a.m, 1,000 mornings before that moment ever arrived. That is not work ethic. That is architecture. The deliberate construction of an internal certainty that cannot be shaken by external pressure, because it was not built from external sources. It was built in the dark, alone, when nobody was watching. Now think about what that means for you. You are not Kobe Bryant. You do not need to be, but you are building something. Every day, whether you are aware of it or not. Every morning you show up when it would be easier not to. You file a piece of evidence. Every time you do the work that nobody sees, you make a deposit. Every hour spent in the direction of something that matters, quietly, without applause, without recognition. You are building the architecture of a person who will not flinch when the moment arrives. Kobe called it the Mamba mentality. He described it as a way of life, an obsessive quest to be the best version of yourself. But underneath that phrase, beneath the brand and the legacy and the mythology, was something simpler. A man who understood that who you become in public is built entirely by what you do in private, and that the gap between good and great is almost always found in the hours nobody counted. Every week on Legacy Latitude, we bring you exactly this, the documented truth about how the people worth studying actually thought. Not the myth, not the highlight reel, the mechanism. The thing underneath the thing that actually explains why some people build something that outlasts them, and every episode ends the same way, with something to sit with. One thought before you go. Kobe Bryant retired in 2016 after 20 years in the NBA. His final game, at 37 years old, on a body that had been through surgeries and injuries that would have ended most careers years earlier, he scored 60 points. 60, the last performance of his career. He was asked afterward how he did it. He said, "I just did what I always do. I prepared. 20 years of mornings at 4 a.m, 20 years of filing evidence in the dark. 20 years of building something nobody could see from the outside. And then, on the last night, he opened the file. Here is what I want to leave you with today. You are filing something right now. In the hours nobody sees. In the decisions nobody applauds. In the work you do when the easiest thing would be to stop. The question is not whether you are building something. The question is, what are you building? Sit with that. I will see you in the next one. New episodes every week on YouTube and Spotify. Find us at Legacy Latitude.